Welcome back, everybody. So you know, I didn't take off without you. First, sixth, because we didn't get it done fast enough. I actually tried to do a recording a few moments ago, and it glitched up and froze me out again. So I just canceled that recording and started this up. So no gameplay has happened without you, but still glitchy internet, crappy internet, as we continue from the last story. But now we're gonna, as I said in the last one too, I wanted to finish the conversation we were having about the bad drivers. We can always discuss more about the crappy internet, because I'm sure this will be a topic that'll come up plenty of times. And as I was also saying in the last one, all these videos are so we can have conversations, because I just want to have something for y'all to see while we talk. And this is the only card game I actually like playing, and it has less concentration than other games. So, plus I find it to be more entertaining than something like Warcraft or something to watch. So, or Warhammer, not Warcraft. But this is literally the screen we had a second ago. I don't know if this means that we just can't get into a game. There we go. We're actually getting into a game now. So as I was saying before, from the video where we was talking about drivers, and I'm going to show you this right here too. This is actually a perfect chance to show you that what the problem is with Lord Traxxas while we're at it. Because we're not guaranteed to get demons. But what I was saying before was that the person in the expedition, they tried to force me over. They drove over in front of the front end of my car a couple of times. I had to slam on brakes the first time, let them get on over. No turning signal, no warning. I honk my horn so they know I'm there, so they don't do it again. And then I'm like, it doesn't matter anyways, because I'm getting into the turning lane. So I get into the turn lane, because I'm going to come to the off-ramp so I can go get on the highway. But when I go to get onto the highway, they go to merge over again. Instead of going ahead and slowing down, because at this point I'm beside them, I sped on up after getting into the turn lane. And I was already up to the passenger door, basically, with my little vehicle, my Honda Civic. So I'm looking at the passenger doors handled without a problem. So I'm side by side with this vehicle. The vehicle speeds up a little bit too, and then jumps over on me again. I had to slam on brakes again because I couldn't speed up to get in front of it.
Don't tell the others.
So I had no choice but to slam on brakes and almost got clipped again. And they knew I was there because I was honking my horn the whole time they were doing it. So we go up the off ramp, and they get over. Well, they took my only slot. There's several cars behind them, and I see an opening 2 slots up because it's like almost bumper to bumper traffic, minus a few little openings here and there. And we're gonna go for buffs right now. To try to make the most out of him, even though I seriously don't see this winning. But we go, especially not with Murlocs in the game. There's no way we're winning this one. But I go on up. I got 2 cars up in front of him. There was an opening. I got over easily without a problem. Well, apparently they wasn't happy with this because they flew on up, drove up past me again, and then nose dove over in front of me again. At this point, like I said, the traffic was really clustered together. So me slamming on brakes meant the car behind me slammed on brakes, honking their horn at me like I did something wrong. And then, for some reason, they jump over and everything like that. And they're, like I said, the car behind me was acting kind of ridiculous at this point too. But they were acting like it was somehow my fault that I had to stop, even though they had to have clearly seen the vehicle in front of me that did this to me. But, you know, I digress. So I get the opening to go on down the road because, as I said, I'm a little Honda Civic, no problem. Well, the way that the off-ramp worked in this case is you take this ramp to go up, there's a patch of grass, but then there's another ramp that's coming down to allow you to merge back in. And I did the illegal thing. I decided, because he decided to take the car that was beside of me and jumped over in front of them to get up beside the car that was in front of him, because he saw that I was waiting for the opportunity to get over behind this one as it was coming up, he decided instead he would just race up there and jump over. Because he was absolutely determined that I'm not going to get in front of him. So I did the illegal thing. I let road rage get the better of me, and I took the off-ramp road, sped up, got in front of him, got in front of the car that was in front of him, and then before he could merge over himself back into the lane that we were in originally, I was able to jump into that spot. And then when he tried to come over, I just held my own. And then I sped up because the car in front of him had slowed down. I'm guessing he got distracted by what was going on behind him with him honking his horn at me. I was able to speed up some more, jump in front of that car, which meant now I was in front of his car that he's behind. So he sped up again and jumped over where I was at. And at this point, I just started zigzagging through traffic. I sped on up, and it's only 2 lanes down this highway, and I'm just zigzagging through traffic, and I'm doing the reckless thing. But it's like at this point, I don't need this jackhole behind me trying to hit me anymore. And I'm just aggravated at the ridiculousness, because at this point, it doesn't matter if I go too slow. He's slowing down for me and then trying to run into me. So, and I don't know why, because he didn't even come from the same direction I was coming from. As I'm going through a 4-way intersection, he pulled into this road from where I'm at and started all this nonsense. So at no point did I instigate anything here. And then he just comes over and starts this entire, like, war that was unnecessary. So I'm going down the road. I'm having to deal with this person who is trying to, like, I literally look back and I realize he's behind me again. And I'm like, I'm driving a little Honda Civic and I'm barely zigzagging between these cars. Like, I am just making it just safe enough where my bumper is not going to be touching their hood as I'm coming across. And I drive up and I'm just doing this. And I got the nickname of the shark because I can swim through traffic. I know how to work the cars good. And then you got a big expedition who's doing the same thing. You know that when they're doing this, it's got to be way dangerous. It's got to be reckless. And he is so full of rage for some reason towards me. And I don't know why. But he is flying up through all these other people and somehow manages to stay behind me the whole time. Despite this. So then he decides he's going to do the same thing to me.
I think you can win.
Where he plans to use the off-ramp to jump over in front of me. Only drawback to that is that the car that was in front of me, instead of blocking me in so that he could do it, it sped up just enough to get over into the spot that he was about to take, so he tries to speed up in front of them. I flew up in front of them and jumped into that spot. So he had no choice to either drive off the road, slam on brakes. He actually chose the first option. He was going to drive off the road and try to get up ahead of me. But there was a sign. So then he had to slam on brakes. His front tires were already off-road by the time he had started this little process. But then he ended up realizing that he couldn't get over and decided to slam on brakes and get over behind the 2 cars now that are in front of him. At this point, I'm already at my destination. I'm turning right. I'm pulling off. And I see where he has sped up there and jumped in to come in behind me. And then we get to the very next road, and I'm getting ready to go do this again. And he flew up behind me again, and I'm just like, I really don't care. I'm not trying to race you. I just didn't want to have to get hit, right? Well, he drives off the road again at this point to get in front of me and pulls up into the turning lane. And I just stopped my turning signal to make it look like I wasn't going to turn there anyways. Because I originally put my turning signal on because I use my turning signal. And I try to let people know what my intentions are. So, like 5 feet from the turn, I've already got my turn signal on. So you got at least 3 seconds before I'm actually starting to turn before my turning signal is on. That way, everybody behind me, anybody in front of me, anybody that's concerned in any way can know my intentions, can either get out of my way, or if you really want to be a douche, get in my way. But at least the intentions are known at this point, and, you know, it's my best bet at trying to be safe, right? And that's where he decided to drive off the road to get up in front of me. Then I turned my turn signal off and act like I was just going to keep going and sped on up. So he started to slow down and act like he was going to get back onto the highway. And as soon as he did, like as soon as I saw the turning signal come on to come back onto the highway, I did the absolute most ridiculous move I could come up with. And I jumped into the turning lane right in front of the nose of his vehicle. Risking my life, risking his life, and just slammed on brakes in front of him, where he had no choice but to do the same. He slams on brakes, drives off road again, but this time he had no choice but to drive completely off the road and just sit there because he almost hit a sign again. And then I finished my turn and went on down the road. He had to back up, readjust himself, get back to the turn, and chase me down again. Well, at this point, I'm like, I don't know what this person's problem is. I understand I'm a Domino's driver, and I'm not supposed to be making myself look this bad because it's bad on the company. So I've decided at this point, I don't know what his problem is, but I'm ready to end this because I'm getting aggravated. And I don't need to wait until I get to the customer's house to do this. So I pull off the road, literally just before I hit the neighborhood where the customer's going to be at. I get out the car, shut the door, and I'm standing there like, come on, let's go. I'm just sitting there like waving my hand, like ushering them to come on. They stop several feet away from me, turn around, and leave. Do a 3-point turn and leave. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, I don't understand what the problem is here. Obviously, you were too chicken crap to come on over here and take care of whatever it is your problem was. But you sat here and chased me for miles just trying to get in front of me. And literally forced my hand at this point to do the reckless crap that I just pulled. Because I do not condone that. And it's all because of I'm assuming road rage. Honestly, I don't know why they were so mad because, like I said originally, it wasn't on that road. I hadn't done anything previously to warrant said behavior. So I don't know. I honestly don't. But that's the kind of driving that I'm talking about. Like, I did wrong, yes. But I did wrong because I was already being wronged multiple times. I don't have a choice but to go to the destination that I'm set for. If I wasn't working for Domino's at the time, honestly, I probably would have let him hit me so I could call the cops on him anyways. But if I wasn't going to do it that way, then I probably would have just went ahead and the first time he almost hit me, just pulled off and went somewhere else. And just let them go do whatever they're going to go do. Because I don't want to have to sit here and worry about being hit. Like, it's not my case. I don't need to risk my life because you're in a bad mood. And the last thing you need to do is be risking somebody else's life because you was dealing with someone like me who's actually a good driver. Who has reaction times. I'm not playing on my phone. Yes, there's plenty of teenagers that plays on their phone the entire time they're behind the wheel. It's not even teenagers all the time. There's grown adults who mess up and do this on a regular basis because they don't take it seriously because they're like, well, I've never been in an accident. There's always a chance for that. Life is always right around the corner. As I said before in the issue with the America thing in the first place, is that there's people who doesn't take consequences seriously. They just believe, oh, well, that's just because that was that person and they wasn't good enough. No, that person was just like you. They just had a bad time about it. They didn't get to have all the chips fall in their favor that time. And you've just been getting lucky, ultimately. So, nobody should be taking that for granted. And I'm surprised how many demons we got, but we didn't get a Wrathweaver, which is essentially what's going to cost us this anyways. Our demons are too weak, there's no way we're going to pull this win off. So, just so y'all know, get prepared. Like, I'm freezing this because that's a buff, and we're sitting here looking at 3 different triples at this point. And each triple is literally looking at some stats behind it, so. But, like, reliving that in my head is, like, aggravating me, actually, to think about it. And that's just one situation. We had one situation where there's a merging point, and it's always bumper-to-bumper traffic there. And it's always stopped, but because there's so many people who are like ridiculous, like keeping 2 car lengths and stuff like that, is why the line is so long. So some people have it where they'll come on down there, they'll wait to the very last minute, and they'll nosedive over in front of everybody, and just be like, oh, too bad everybody else, I don't care. I'm not one of those people. I put a turning signal on, I do drive up closer to the front of the line, and I got my turning signal on, and if somebody has the courtesy to let me in, I'll take it. If not, I'm willing to go around, go down to the end of the bridge, and come up the other side, because the other side doesn't have that way. So, I take a few seconds on this side of the bridge first. Well, in this in particular case, this in particular day, I'm coming to the end of the bridge and everything, or I'm coming to the end of the chance before I have to take the bridge. And there's a car that has like stopped moving. It's just sitting there. I'm like, okay, so they're letting me in. So I wave, thank you, you know, do the thank you wave and everything, and I go ahead and pull in, and the only thing I didn't get in was the back tiredness because the car in front of us had stopped, even though it still had a whole car length ahead of it. It went ahead and slammed on brakes and stopped. And it's one of those situations where, like I said, it's uncourteous to everybody else behind them because they're just being like, well, if I need to back up and go on somewhere. It's like, well, that's not really fair to anybody that's stuck behind you now, but okay, continue. Let's see if there's any other demons. There's one other demon. Yeah, we just fought him, actually. If we bought that, then we could have a chance at getting a soul juggler.
You're down a minion and up a goal.
Grab all of our demons. Buy this little beauty right here.
Another satisfied customer.
Power him up. I'm actually not going to keep you there. Okay. Yeah, we got rid of one of our triple options, but we can't sit here on them forever. But yeah, so what happens is then the person behind the wheel was apparently not letting me in. He wasn't paying attention. And just let cars go, which is another reason why you don't sit back in that entire line. It's because there's a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm sitting here, let me play on my phone. Plus, there's been a few times where everybody's sitting in that line and come to find out there's a car broke down. Somewhere between there and there. And nobody's moving forward because nobody knows that the car's broke down. Just everybody on the left lane keeps flying on up there and jumping over and nobody knows. So, sometimes it's best to go check it out. Like I said, there was an alternate route if not, so it wasn't going to kill me if I didn't get over. I didn't have a problem with not being able to get over. But at this point, I've already gotten over. Well, the person realizes that somebody's jumped in front of them and decides that's not okay with them, so they drive off the road beside me, get up beside me, and they're hanging out the window looking at me like, really? And I'm just sitting there like with my arms out like, what? You know, like, what is your problem here, bro? So he drives up in front of me and just like tries to get in, even though there's no room to get in. And I'm like, you're being so ridiculous right now. Like, no, at this point, I'm not gonna let you in. Just off principle, I'm not gonna let you in now. Which again, also not the right answer to this situation, but you know, sometimes petty is as petty does. Like, wait a minute, we got that and that. We're not fighting demons. I'm gonna go ahead and put this guy down. Look at this. So we got another triple coming in. He's gonna allow us to gain. Murlocs, dragons, demons, Murlocs, of course, Murlocs, pirates. Nobody's doing beast, but there are pirates, so we're gonna take that so they can't have that. Power everything up. And freeze. So we're gonna buy both of those minions. Buying him means we're gonna buff him, so. Oh, so as they're trying to jump over in front of me, you know, I'm like, I'm not giving up space at this point. Like, you should have just stayed where you were at. Now you're being stupid, and I refuse to give in to stupidity. So as I'm going forward, he literally runs into my vehicle, so I'm stuck scraping the front of his vehicle as I'm going. And he pushes into my car as I'm doing this as well. Then they turn around and decide that they're not going to get in behind me, even though the car behind me is willing to let them back in. Like, no, that's not happening. So what they do is, oh, actually, that's what we're going to play our dragon on. We're going to play it on this guy first. So he decides he's going to drive up ahead of the people that's already in front of him now and cut them off instead. And, okay, whatever, I don't care. You're in front of me again. Good for you. Everybody got in, everybody's fine. I don't care. I'm willing to let go of the fact that my car just got scraped up because I don't really care about this car at this time anyways. It's not my, it's not the vehicle I have now. It was was it Ford?
That'll do some damage.
Was it a Ford? I don't remember what it was anymore. It was just some little white car that looked like crap. Ah, that did not just happen. Fighting pirates. We'll have another chance to get another one. We got a demon right there. Okay, yeah, we'll do it. So.
Witness the true end time.
No, we didn't get what we were looking for. have dragons. Not really anyway, so we're gonna get this. And you can go now. What will you give us? I guess nobody else can have it. Buying this. This. They're determined, aren't they? Like, literally, we could have got a triple of this or this at this point. They will not give us a demon. That is some crap, man. What does this give us? I think it's buffed by 1. And we got that. No, this is gone now. Okay, this. Buff them. Freeze that. I'm going to take that and that. We're going to try. Darn it. So, yeah. The ridiculousness went on. What happens then, though, is now there are 2 cars up in front of me, right? And what happens is they jump over as fast as they can, like in front of another car that is flying down the road. They just jumped out in front of them. And somehow that car happened to catch them in time and stop. They didn't get hit like I expected them to, actually, and like they probably deserved to get, honestly. But they still ended up, because they jumped in front of that car, another car jumped in front of them, which kind of punished them and was holding them up. Well, I went on down the road some more. I got very far down the road, actually, before I got over to the left. And as I'm going down the road, I'm basically the only car where I'm at now. I'm way up in front of this whole pack. And I happen to look back in my rearview mirror, and I see it's the same guy. And he is zigzagging back and forth behind my car, like fuming that he's behind me again, because he's realized who he's behind again. And he's just so mad about this, he can't take it. It's so aggravated. And I'm just like, you kind of brought this on yourself. If you just, behaved yourself, maintained what you were doing, you would have been in front of me again without a problem. And I wouldn't care, because, I don't care about any of this stuff. It's not a big deal to me. Here, sell that. I've already gotten a trouble with him. I want that so bad, but I don't really know how to play it now.
Darkness rises.
What does this even have? It has poisonous in that. We play this. We could give it something else, but I don't know what I would want to give it. We'll take it. That's just because if we can get Lord Draxus, we could sell this right here. And we can look into the next one. Like if we got triple that, we can put Draxus in that, and then we can literally just play on the third space. So what they do is, because they realize that they are behind me again, and it irritates them so, they start like flying up on my bumper, and I'm just sitting there waving my hand like, okay dude, calm down, Usa, maybe at some point I'll let you back over, but right now it's only enough room to run one lane because there's cars steady in the other lane, and I'm not going to just completely drive off the road just so you can get in front of me again. That apparently was not a sustainable situation. Because they decide they're going to put their bumper right on my bumper and start pushing my car further down the road. I'm like, what is your problem? Like, what kind of hurry are you in at this point that you're breaking the law so severely? Oh, we got Alganis. Well, actually got him. Let's see what else we can get.
Better hire a recruit while you can.
Yeah, 2. And 7 Murlocs. I doubt that they got that good, so let's get rid of this. We're gonna play this. Does it have one Fury yet? It doesn't. Sell out. Try this.
I like where
Done with
you're
this one
going
now.
with this.
Fill me with your anger.
As much as I like you, you gotta go.
Useful thing. Bigger than that.
Bring the fight to me!
you're too weak to do anything. Alright, we're gonna try. That's a lot of poison though. I was literally about to say, if they get the upper hand at any given time, we lose. Okay. Lose automatically. But we're not eliminated, so there's still a chance to come back.
I've got some fresh recruits for you. Go big or go home, I always say.
We're gonna figure out what we're gonna sell now. Obviously, we're gonna sell the weak one.
I didn't like that one either. Here's a gold for the trouble.
Buy this.
That's quite the army you're
Yay,
building,
more Murlocs.
I didn't like that one either. Here's a gold for the trouble.
So this guy right here, there's no way he's gonna be. Because they're gonna have poisonous. They have to have poisonous. And we need to do attack damage, so. Do we do a second Mal'Ganis or do we do the Void Lord? We do the Void Lord. Honestly, I'm just gonna go sell that. Yeah, it's too late for you. I'm gonna try to just buff and play it out. I'm glad we gave that thing Wind Fury. But we're still gonna lose this. But yeah, so the whole point of this entire thing is like it's just stories of how ridiculous he gets out there. And why it's not necessary, like how much risk got given to so many different people. Which, by the way, they completely got away with too, because I called a local police department while we were playing, or while we were driving and everything. I literally had to, because I let them get over. After they started pushing me down the road, you know, they finally got around me and took off, and I'm just like, okay, whatever, you're ahead of me now, leave me alone.
Pulled their weight.
But that wasn't good enough for them. Then they wanted to, like, start driving up in front of me and slamming on brakes in front of me. I'm like, you went through so much trouble to get in front of me, and now that you're in front of me, you're still not happy. You still have to try to drive like a jack wagon, you know? I'm like, what am I supposed to do here to get out of this situation? Like, I've done everything I know to do to get out of this situation, and there's nothing that is working. There's nothing that is changing my situation here. So what do I need to do to fix this problem? I don't want that big
ones for later.
I just don't know what I'm going to replace her with. It'd be better if we could have got some of those battle cries that we could play, because I'll just get rid of Mal'Ganis at this point. I would have liked to tripled him, though. A couple of them I would have liked to tripled, but I don't think we're going to get that lucky. Because we need to have as many bodies on the field is the important thing. And actually, no, that's why we don't want to get rid of Mal'Ganis. Just because we want the body, so it might be one of those guys. Again, we can't make it this one because he's so big. We need him to hit and kill something. But at the same time, I don't know. Having 3 bodies that get plus 4 is kind of nice. I'm hoping one of them 2 will eliminate the other one, so this whole match will come down to the next match. But yeah, so they got in front of me, they start slamming on brakes in front of me, and I'm just like, I don't know what else to do here. So I literally, as they start I pull up my phone, they finally start speeding off down the road. Because now they're like, oh, well, he's going to start recording us, we can actually get in trouble. But you're darn right, and I'm not letting it stop now, because at this point, you've tried to run into me in the front, the back, and the side. I'm not letting you get away with this thing now. You damaged my car once already, and you just tried to do it again. I'm not letting you get away with this no more. So I sped up there, I got their license plate number, I call the cops, and while I'm on the phone with the cops, they want my personal information the whole time. And I'm just yelling at them, will you please just take the license plate number in case they get away from me, because at this point, I'm speeding down the road, trying to get their information for you. So that when you have to ask me later, what is their information? Did I happen to get it? Yes, here it is. And it was like pulling teeth to get them to take the information. Such a waste of time, honestly. But I could ditch 2 of them. But that just doesn't make sense then. There's only 6 Murlocs, so they probably got Divine Shield now. It's just so bad. We need to get the most we
I
can
didn't
out of
like
what we're
that one
doing.
either. Here's a gold for the trouble.
Hero power, fire. No kitty, that's my pop tart. Out of here. This is why we really didn't need to have 2 of them. Oh, we still managed to pull it off. We didn't win, but we tied. Made somebody mad. So, we got another chance.
Welcome back. How's it going out there?
Actually, the cannon would be the way to go with this. I just don't really want to go that way. I don't have to. Give us a triple. Yes!
Hey, a triple. Here's your reward.
There's nothing here. There's my buff, and there's that break the divine shields. Do I want to do that though? Yes, yes I do. I'm sorry, I do.
Another satisfied customer.
I didn't like that one either. Here's a gold for the trouble.
I bought the wrong one. Oops. Oh, that was a good run. Like we're losing this now. I screwed up. It's not we. I did. Yeah, if Big Mama had actually hit that one, then we actually probably get this boots off still. That's terrible. But yeah, there's so many stories like that, and it's like after that was all said and done with, they tried to actually get up onto an off ramp and stop when they realized which off ramp I was taking. They jumped in front of me, they stopped and they all tried to get out. Well, at the time my back had been injured, so I wasn't about to try to fight 4 guys at the same time on my own. That would have hurt back. I would have thought about it. Like at first I was already hitting my brakes to get on out, and I was like, my back's already hurting. If it locks up on me while I'm trying to fight, I am just gonna be sit there and get my butt kicked by 4 guys at this point. Just get on around them. But that is beyond road rage for nothing. Was not necessary. Beyond not necessary. It was so stupid. Childish. But they didn't get in any trouble for it when it was all said and done with. So, go cops. That's my whole point about the cop situation. But we will continue conversations in the next episode. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Let me know what you think.